Hey guys, my name is Wesley, and for those of you that don't know me, my wife Irene and myself moved up here a few months ago, well, in December now, and we've been attending Vancouver Vineyard since about January, February, and so if you don't know us, that's probably why. And um, but we've really had a whirlwind of a time since moving up here, and there's been a lot that's happened to us. My wife moved up here, and the school that she was going to go to, Concordia, ended up closing. And right after that, COVID hit, and um, she lost her job because of it. I started a new job teaching online English, and I started a chaplaincy internship. During this time, we also bought a car, and there's so much stuff that's happened to us recently. And my wife, yesterday or the day before, started writing down everything that had started happening to us. And it just made me realize how important it is to take stock of everything that is happening in our lives, and to be able to sit down and reflect, especially when there's so much going on in our lives. In my chaplaincy internship, I was sitting down with my clinical mentor, and what happens is together we go through visits that we've had with patients, and the clinical mentor will go over the visit with us, because what we do is we chart the visits. And she was going over my summary of the visit, and she noticed that I had diagnosed the person as spiritually vital, meaning they were doing well. And she was like, but I noticed that you said the person was really overwhelmed. And she was like, I'm wondering why you think that is spiritually vital. And I was like, ah. And it was a great reflective statement, because I realized how much I bypass stuff, and how often I don't sit down to reflect on everything that's happening. And so because of that, I just go through life, and I miss opportunities to realize the significance and the impact that things have happened to me. And it was a great moment of clarity for me, because I realized how I've closed myself off to being able to fully experience stuff that's happening to me. And because of that, I'm not able to then share that with other people. And it made me think about Acts and the stories that we've been reading. And this chapter that I read for today was chapter 20. And right before chapter 20 is chapter 19. And we see the story of Paul and the disciples being involved in these huge things like riots happening, the spirits coming down, and the spirits entering the world and just causing chaos everywhere around them. And so much is happening. And then right after that, we enter chapter 20, and we see this small little break where Paul's just come from this turmoil, and he's wanting to head to Jerusalem, where he knows trouble awaits him. And he even says that, he says, I don't know what's waiting for me, but I know persecution awaits for me. And he knows that the Holy Spirit is involved with all of this. And in this small little break between the riots and between his destiny that he knows he's going to, he takes this time to invite the elders of Ephesus to come and be with him. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this really struck me towards the end of the chapter. Towards the time, he says this to them: so take heed, remembering that for 3 years I did not cease admonishing each of you night and day with tears. And now I commend you to the Lord and to the word of his grace, which has the power to establish a house and bequeath their inheritance to all who have been made holy. I coveted no one's silver or gold or clothing. You yourselves know that these hands have provided for my needs and for those who are with me. I have revealed all to you, how laboring in this very way you must care for the infirm, and must remember the words of the Lord, that he said, it is a blissful thing to give rather than to receive. And having said these things, he went down on his knees and prayed with all of them. And there was considerable weeping on everyone's part, and they draped themselves over Paul's neck and kissed him. And so what we see here is Paul is taking stock with people that he loves around him. And what that does is he shows how the gospel penetrates our hearts and changes them so that we are drawn to an intimacy that we wouldn't be able to experience without Jesus and the Holy Spirit. And the Holy Spirit's drawing Paul to become closer with those around him and God in the process, simply by remembering the things that he's done and the things that have happened to him because of Jesus. And so I'm just wondering what Jesus and the Holy Spirit is inviting us into during this time, and how that might be leading us more to be intimate with those around us, and with ourselves too, and with God. And so hopefully that helps and encourages you today to step out into the Holy Spirit's presence and for what he has planned for you. All right, guys.